guys? We are live today. It's a nice, cloudy Saturday morning. Bringing you a Vassal tournament game. It's One of the opponents is Luca. Not sure who the other opponent is. Let me get some information. All right. Um, so we'll probably be starting here in 10 minutes or so. Let's get Luca in chat. And that way we'll be able to get a little bit more information about this tournament. You might have noticed I have changed up um, the format of the stream a little bit. I've rearranged some of the boxes. I hope this makes things more clearer, I guess, more visible. The main changes that we have are we now have the Twitch chat right on the screen, which is going to make it a lot easier for me to see what's going on in Twitch chat. We also now have the Vassal windows directly.
Hey.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, fine, thanks. Just finish. Yeah, tell me.
So welcome to the stream.
Okay.
If you haven't seen it before, it's pretty casual. I'm on like every weekend streaming for a couple hours, but yeah, it's nice to get some tournament games in. Why don't you tell us what tournament this is you're playing in?
So, actually, it's simply a league that we decided to organize. Actually, it's the third one that we're doing. But it's just among the Italian players because it was organized in our Facebook group. And so, like, it was not open to anybody else since nobody knew about it.
That's cool. It seems like there's a pretty big Italian community on Vassal. I think I've played against a couple of you guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's spreading up because, I mean, for us, the problem is that we have three main communities, but the biggest one is in Milan.
Mm-hmm.
So if we are able to play quite often, I mean, for real games, there are many people who are spread around little towns around Italy, and they have no chance to play in actual life while they can just play online.
Right.
So that's why most of them are playing there.
Well, it's good to get more players on Vassal. It's always good to see.
And some of us are very, very frequently there. But others are just time by time playing for this tournament.
What can you tell us about the meta over there in Italy? It seems like Europeans are very big on mercenary lists, especially IG-88.
Sorry, I was putting on my earphones, and so I couldn't really understand your question.
I was asking, what kind of lists do you see played often over there in Italy? The meta in Europe seems to be mostly mercenary lists.
Yeah, that's kind of true. I mean, everybody of us obviously have a most favorite faction, but actually, most of us are playing mercenary, even if there are some imperialists. The actual problem is that I think that, like, the players who used to play the most, so the most trained, and so the ones who tend to win the tournament, generally don't play, for example, Imperialists.
Mm-hmm.
So since nobody is seeing Imperialists played by the most trained one, then nobody's playing Empire again.
Yeah.
And so everybody's keeping stuck to the mercenary leagues. I mean, there are a few who play Rebels, but like, yeah, the Empire ones are like, I mean, the ones who generally lose the tournaments. So that's why nobody's convinced to play Empire. For example, for me, I was not convinced at all of Vader. Then I played against many of the foreigner on Vassal, and I completely changed my mind. And time by time, playing Empire as well, just to try to change the meta. I mean, to make aware everybody in Italy about the possibility among all the faction and not just about mercenary. I really think this meta is extremely healthy. I mean, really,
Oh, for
there's
sure.
a I mean, I really like it. It was such a long time that we didn't have this chance to play any kind of list. I mean, there are
Oh,
so
yeah.
many archetypes of lists for every faction.
That's so true. Yeah, it's before Heart of the Empire came out, it was like you really only had one choice, and that was hunters. Now it's
Yeah,
like troopers,
Uh,
hunters, they're all decent.
yeah, because I think the main difference is that for the Empire, before there were just, I mean, you could just deploy two elite jet troopers. Well, now you have more chances to deploy more elite unities. I mean, you have the Sentry, you have the Riot, but now you can deploy, like, for example, four elite unities. And so that really filled the meta because before, for example, you had to use how do the droids, what are they called in English? Like the ones of Hot, the explode scout droids. How they call?
Um, I'm not.
I mean the
Oh, the
single
probe
scout.
droids.
Yeah, the probe droids. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, the droids actually. If you have an elite Jawa, that droid secret droid faction is actually not bad. I've experimented a little bit with IG-88 sentries. It's actually
Mm-hmm.
not bad. So yeah, you got smugglers, hunters, troopers, droids, and spies. I think you can build a list around any of those factions.
Yeah, and I mean, for example, what I'm reasoning about, I was like one of the first to play the IG after a long time here in Italy,
Hmm.
and then many people try again new lists with the IG. Then I'm just reasoning on how to face similar lists. I mean, that's the problem because if everybody plays the same list, then it's just the chance to get Blaze of Glory at first round, but not. I mean, your strategy or your dices doesn't matter much. I mean, it's just about luck at a certain moment. The
Right.
skills are the same and the lists are very similar. And so I was really thinking about the spies. Because, for example, my list that generally I play is IG, Jabba, Greedo, Vinto,
Hmm.
um, Pirates, Gideon, and C3PO with no of the deployment normal cards. But the fact is that to counter IG, I was thinking about deploying a cloud item, putting intelligence leak inside the command deck, just to counter Blaze of Glory. I mean, to have a chance to be over another IG list, even if I think that Winto is a better character against any other kind of list. It's just about winning the mirror matches. That's the main problem.
Yep. Yep. That's very true. Yeah, comms disruption and intelligence leak are so good right now with so many people running IG and Blaze of Glory.
Yeah.
It can make such a huge difference, especially because a lot of times when a player has a card like Son of Skywalker or On the Lam or Blaze of Glory, they'll play really aggressively with the either, Han or IG or whoever, and
Mhm.
that'll make them a little bit vulnerable. And then when their card gets comms disrupted, all of a sudden their IG-88 is hanging out to dry in a spot he doesn't want to be in. So
Yeah.
it can
Yeah,
definitely be
and
a huge swing to counter those cards.
yeah. And, I mean, I'm not very sure about putting command disruption if I have just one group of spy. I was thinking more about having two groups of spy in order to, I mean, in order to
Yeah, yeah, the cards that you can comms disrupt with two groups. I mean, overrun gets run a lot. That can be
uh,
that can be 10 damage easy. Um, and Blaze of Glory obviously, but there's a lot of two cost cards that are good to disrupt.
I mean, also just few upgrades, so with just one group of spy is fine to negate it.
Yeah,
But I
or
mean,
you can comms disrupt their negation or something like that.
yeah, true, very true. And yeah, when you have negation, you imagine to have for sure the initiative. If the other has the common disruption, then I
Yep,
mean it's a tricky way to win it.
yep. But yeah, I think spies are absolutely viable. But the units maybe that have the spy trait are not quite as powerful as the units that have, say, the trooper or hunter trait.
True.
If you compare
For
the
example,
two without the command cards, that's why spies
mhm,
don't get played as much.
yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, you can negate once or twice. I mean, when somebody once when everybody was using Luke and Leia, then it was pretty different because I mean, Leia could allow you to redraw the command disruption cards, Son of Skywalker, and stuff like that. But now you can just negate one of many powerful cards. So I
Right.
think that just playing a least focus only on the spy trait is not viable. While it's more like a two-part. I mean, to have an addition in order to overcome some tricky cards the opponent can play or some situation that is not expecting. Um, that's the point. I mean, maybe you can play that upgrade card of the troopers in order to make them spy cross training.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, if you have spare points, just because I mean the troopers are viable units. For example, the saboteurs are not viable anymore. The ISB are not playable because you
Hmm.
can't just attack twice. You have to run, hit, and cover back.
Right.
And I mean, the game is completely different, and you're shooting way farther.
Hmm.
And
Yeah, I
yeah,
think
I mean,
cross training is pretty good on the elite riot troopers, just because with that block token and a white die,
yeah,
that's a pretty decent defense pool there.
yeah, completely agree. And
And those guys are
but
pretty easy to keep alive, so you keep that spy trait on the table for longer.
yeah, then you have just reinforcements to put them back.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
such a pain in the ass when
Right.
when somebody's reinforcing a riot.
I've
7
seen.
life.
Yeah, right. I know, right? I've seen some people run cross training on jets. I think that's pretty weak actually, like because
Yeah,
they lose the agile basically,
yeah,
because
sure.
you're
You're
hardly
right.
ever rolling just the one block side. But I see people do it.
Yeah,
Um,
but you're right. I completely right.
did you play
Sorry,
in the
yeah,
was there an Italian national tournament?
not yet. We're gonna have it in 2 weeks.
Okay. Have you made up your mind on a list yet?
Yeah, I think I'm really focused on my list on IG. I mean, I
Okay.
would really like to play Vader,
Hmm.
but um, I really mind about statistics, and I prefer to have some certainties. And I don't really like when Vader just dies because you're rolling single blocks on the both black
Right.
dices and so on. I mean, it can be very tough. I mean,
Yep.
sometimes I can't simply kill him because it keeps doing 5 blocks, and then you don't deal any damage. But
Yeah.
still,
I was playing IG88 against Vader the other day, and I rolled up and I attacked Vader twice, and I did about 3 damage total in those two attacks. And I had Blaze of Glory in my hand, but I was like, I think maybe I won't. I don't think I'm gonna keep attacking Vader. My opponent rolled, I think, let me think, 15 blocks in 3 defense rolls. It's crazy. So I mean, yeah, he's pretty inconsistent though, and you can play around him. He's pretty slow.
yeah, but I mean, it's how to say that in English? I mean, it's unstoppable in some way. I mean, I
Yeah.
really think that if you ignore him, you're gonna suffer a lot.
Oh yeah, for
And
sure. Especially if he gets the right command cards. I mean, there's some brawler cards that can get him right up in your face. And you got
yeah,
like Force Surge and stuff, Dark Energy. Like he's got some really good cards to manipulate where you are on the board.
yeah, and those are so efficient. I mean, for example, Dark Energy is a card I love,
Oh
really
yeah,
love.
it's probably my favorite new card. And
Yeah, it's,
I think I underestimated it before, but just 1 damage, like unmitigated to anyone within 3 spaces, can be just super useful in an Imperial list.
you know, imagine when we had the first news about the new Vaders, we were trying out it, and we were very kind of discriminating him because I mean we didn't know how to play it, and we were just trying him on Nalata,
Hmm.
And like one of my my best friends was playing Imperial General. He was playing him, and he just rushed into me. And then a single weekly, I had all the powerful cards in my hand, and I dealt like 15 damages
Oh,
in a
jeez.
single hit.
Jeez.
Like playing all the cards, like
Right.
Wall Attack,
Yeah.
Tools, Assassinate, Heighten, and so on. So we just like, okay, Vader sucks, and we didn't play it for really a lot of time.
Right.
So I started playing. I mean, we were really discussing about the American meta, and we
Uh-huh.
were kind of arrogant in some way. We were saying like, how can they play always Vader? Why everybody's playing the 6 activation list with Vader?
Right.
Because the meta, I mean, really for us, the meta was about having snipers who were hiding themselves
Yep.
and having more activation than the opponents. So the
Yeah.
scum were always playing at 8 activation with David scheme, and the only alternative for the rebels was to play 9 activation with a lot of smugglers.
Yeah.
But I mean,
But then you have no
it wasn't very.
attackers.
Yeah, that was a problem, and there was no Java map out yet,
Right.
so it was not that good.
Yeah, and speaking of
So it
doing
was
15 damage with a weak way, that's pretty common to one-shot Han with a
yeah,
focused weak way pirate.
yeah.
Like really common.
And yeah, but what is nice now is that we're really like exploring and go across our boundaries that we put in our minds, and like removing the arrogance and just thinking about like the usage of some cards that we are kind of setting apart because they didn't seem very useful. For example, I don't know. I mean, probably it's not viable, but using cripple with the brawlers in order to stop the smugglers to go away with the on the lamb, or I don't know, like a small riot, I think a normal riot, and just play cripple on An, and then Vader arrives and kill him because he can't play on the lamb or stuff like that.
Yeah,
And
that's
an
interesting.
example. no.
I, yeah, there's a lot of command cards that don't get any play that maybe have some use, but a lot of people just stick to the tried and true stuff.
Yeah, because it's the standard list and it's very trained and tested. I mean, it
Yep.
works.
Yeah, it's
But then
consistency.
it's a consistency. Yeah. So
So
my opponent should be arriving. I mean, it just text me that he's gone. Yeah,
okay.
it's almost there. I'm
Yeah.
sorry for it. Yeah, it's a pleasure to do that.
For sure, for sure. Are anybody? Is anyone from the Italian community gonna come to Worlds?
I mean, last year we didn't have the chance because the
Mm-hmm.
Worlds was very close to our national. That was very late,
Mm-hmm.
and the problem was especially that we have no paid tickets. And as well this year, I mean, the winner
Mm-hmm.
who could have taken as prize the ticket to come, but we're not gonna be enough to get that prize because we're not gonna be 50, and that was the threshold to
Yeah.
get that prize too for the winner. So I guess nobody of us will come. I mean, unless somebody has to work in the state for that period during that period and so on. I mean, for example, I mean, last year I won the national,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm a student,
Yeah.
so I have no hope to come to the state just for the awards unless it's already paid.
Yeah. Yeah. So wait, what were you saying? If you win nationals, you get a plane ticket or something?
Yeah, for example, the X-wing. I mean, it's the same day of our Imperial Soul Championship. They will get the prize the ticket to come to the states. I mean, the trip will be paid
Oh, that's
because
pretty
they are
nice.
more than 50
Ah, I gotcha.
rolled
Yeah,
for
I
the
won the
national championship.
U.S. nationals, and we only had 36, I think. So I don't get a plane ticket either. It's pretty unfortunate, but I'll still be there. It really stinks that it's like it's called the World Championship, but really you don't have all the best players in the world able to come. And we've even seen a little controversy this week. They've been handing out their invitations, and a lot of good players aren't receiving invitations. So,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah, right. Because there was the lottery, right?
right,
You're right.
okay.
Yeah,
It
but
looks
we're
like your opponent has joined the room. So,
yeah, Adrian.
so let's pick
So,
a map, I guess.
yeah.
Do you want me to roll the button? Roll the button for it.
Okay.
Okay. It looks like Jabba's B. So I will
Yeah.
close this game and load up a new game for you guys.
Okay.
And then that way I'll have a little bit control over where.
So we're dropping this out. Wait, no.
You just can right click on my name in the vassal room and click
Yeah.
synchronize, and um, it should fix the room for you.
Okay. Yeah. Then yes, sure. Okay.
If you could do me a favor
Yeah.
and drag the scorecards down and kind of closer to the middle of the map, like where the bottom
Common card.
hallway is. The red and blue scorecards where it has your name and victory points.
Oh yeah, sure. Wait,
Just
like
yeah,
here.
yeah, it makes it a lot cleaner for the stream, so I can zoom in a little better. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
All right, I'm gonna pop out of chat now. I only have about an hour, so I might not make it for the whole game.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, it was really a pleasure talking to you. Everyone that's listening, this is Luca. He's a former Italian national champion, and good luck. Good luck in this game today,
Thanks.
and good luck in
Thanks.
your upcoming national.
Yeah, you too.
All right, thanks.
Okay, it was a pleasure. Thank you.
Okay, everyone, that was Luca again. Really nice guy to talk to. Very knowledgeable about the game. It's always really interesting to get a foreign perspective on the meta because it seems like they always have, you know, um, they think about the game. They have a very different approach than we do over here, and it's always like really interesting to hear their opinions. So it was, and the Italian community seems like they're very, they have a very big community there. I always see them on Vassal. Luca's on Vassal all the time. And welcome to those guys that are in Twitch chat. Um, I'm not sure. Okay, who Luca's opponent is? Looks like Raffo. I'm not familiar with him at all. And it looks like they're going to be talking in Italian to each other, so that might make it a little difficult for us, but we will see how it goes. And DEFCON's here too. Welcome. If you're just joining us, we're watching a Italian. They have a league, I guess. It's like an Italian league. And again, Luca is a very strong player from Italy, former national champion. And we're going to be seeing his. He's running a mercenary list with IG. Seems like everyone in Italy is running IG. He was telling us earlier that they look at the US meta and see a lot of people playing Vader, and that gives them a little bit of arrogance, maybe thinking that we're overestimating Vader. And I think he has a point there. I think Vader maybe is a little overrated. But then again, he's running Jabba, so I think Jabba's overrated. So he's also running a Claudite, which is we were talking earlier about the strength of spies. Just one spy for intelligence leak to get rid of that Blaze of Glory can be a huge asset. I mean, it's no guarantee that you're going to draw intelligence leak, and it's no guarantee that your intelligence leak is going to get rid of Blaze of Glory. But even just seeing your opponent's hand can be a huge boon. So that's kind of the purpose of the regular Claudite. And with the Senator form, you are distributing power tokens, so it's not like it's a bad figure to have. It does cost 4, which is kind of maybe a little overcosted, but It's not a wasted activation like some other 4 cost units. So yeah, again, you'll notice that we're running a little bit different format here for the stream. We have the Twitch chat right up on screen, so that's pretty nice for me because usually when you guys say something, it takes me a couple minutes to even realize that anything's been typed. So this might be a little bit better. I really like to interact with the people on the Twitch channel, so I think there's a lot of benefits to doing it live, and I think this could improve the experience. Um, and thanks to Hepe from Board Wars for um, showing me how to do this. We're importing the windows directly into OBS. For anyone that's interested in streaming, OBS is like the most popular software to use. Um, so the reason I think Jabba is overrated is because he's 6 points that is not going to contribute to map control at all. He has no map presence. His 10 health might as well be 1 health because, you just tuck him away and no one's even going to bother killing him. Um, he's, as far as like running objectives or, um, just taking damage, Gideon and 3PO do that better than him. Absolutely better. So I think if you take him and replace him with Onar, you're not getting a card draw the first round, and you're not getting that extra focus. But you don't have to spend 2 VPs to attack, and Onar's attack is as good as almost anyone's. Um, so you're pretty much sacrificing 1 card and a focus for 15 health and that get down bonus. Not to mention his rush can be very useful. So, I mean, Onar I think is better than Jabba in pretty much every aspect. I played against a couple Jabba lists at Worlds last year. I mean, everyone at Worlds was running mercenaries because that was really the only option. It was double weak ways, and then you could either take Jabba, Onar, Vinto, Greedo, Rebel Care Package, Shyla. Some people had Gamorrean guards, but everyone was running mercenaries. The Jabba lists I played against, um, it wasn't even close. All you have to do is take out 3 or 4 weak ways. Even if you lose half your list doing that, all of a sudden they have no map presence and they have no attackers. Who's Jabba gonna order? Right. Yeah. So a lot of people ran Jabba in place of Gideon 3PO, which in that case it's like all you're getting is an extra card, and you're losing a whole activation. C3PO's defensive bonus, Gideon's push, and again, his health doesn't do anything. So, yeah, I agree. Jabba, he's not only too much support, but he's overcosted support. I think I mean, he's better with IG-88 than he is with just weak way pirates because ordering an IG-88 attack is probably about as good as you're going to get with him. So he's better than he was back at Worlds last year when the best attacker was the weak ways, but it's still not good enough, I don't think. Because once IG-88 dies, then who's he going to order? Most of the time when he's ordering a weak way pirate, it's not a hidden or focused weak way pirate. Um, so really, to beat this list, all you have to do is kill IG-88. I agree with that comment there. He's running a 7 activation list without Devious. That's going to lose on initiative to most mercenary lists. There's not many mercenary lists that are running 6 activations or even 7 without Devious. So he's going kind of all in on the card draw. Between Jabba and Black Market, he's going to have a ton of cards. Plus, he's got the Claudite, so he has the Spy trait. So with all that extra card draw, he's hoping to completely dominate the card game. And in this Hunter meta with Blaze of Glory, I think that's definitely an important thing to have that command card control. And I haven't seen this particular list before, so maybe Jabba plus Spies is kind of a viable option. It was something I was thinking about back when the Claudites first got revealed. I was thinking um, Spies and Mercenaries basically means you can completely dominate your opponent on command cards. Because, you got Strategic Shift, Intelligence Leak, Comms Disruption, and then you have Jabba's card draw and Black Market. So, who knows? Maybe Jabba is the right choice for this list, but maybe mindset is stuck in the mindset of you need to kill more stuff than your opponent. But if you can control the command cards, maybe that's good enough. So I've seen a lot of people running that base IG, Equa, Greedo, Rebel Care Package, and Devious. I feel like most mercenary lists start there. That's 5 activations, and you have Devious. So you pretty much need 2 more activations after that. I think Onar's underrated. I don't see him played a lot. A lot of people put Vinto in. I think Onar is worth the extra point for sure. Another option is with an Elite Jawa, you can add Hera, since 3PO is coming over from the Elite Jawa's ability. I forget what it's called. So if you run IG, Equa, Greedo, Rebel Care Package, Devious, and E-Jawa and Hera, you still have 3 points left. And then with that 3 points, I mean, you're already at 7 activations. So that's kind of where the E-Sentry IG list comes from, because you drop Elite Weakways for E-Sentries with that 3 remaining points. I'm not convinced of that list, the consistency, but I'm not sure what else you could put in for 3 points that's worth it. Yeah, you could put in R2. That I do like the extra command card control, especially with hunters. So maybe that's a good choice. But again, that's a lot of support. I'm not sure. I think that would be okay. I think that's probably better than Jabba. I mean, 3PO is or R2 is 3 points less, and he still gives you the card draw. Plus, Hera is really good. People are starting to bring Hera to mercenaries as part of the Rebel Care Package instead of just bringing Gideon and 3PO. They're bringing Gideon and Hera. So people know the power of Hera. It's not like she's underestimated. And it's not hard to fit all 3 of those figures into mercenaries. It's kind of sad, honestly, for Rebels. Their best asset is the Rebel Care Package, and mercenaries have access to the full thing. So people who are making Rebel lists are like, oh, it's imbalanced because you have 9 points locked in every time. But really, mercenaries can get all 9 of those. So it's hard to say. it's hard to justify taking a rebel list over a mercenary list when they get all the good things that rebels have. And as a rebel player myself, it's a little annoying, but yeah, maybe R2's the right choice in that. I think elite weakways are probably better than sentries point for point. I really doubt we'll see a temporary alliance ban. Um, I mean, I feel like temporary alliance was made back when there weren't enough figures to build a good mercenary list. That's kind of like the point. I mean, mercenaries only had Nexus and Trandoshans when the core box came out. So it's like you couldn't even put together a mercenary list without temporary alliance. And now there's plenty of mercenary cards, so yeah, you can build a fine mercenary list without temporary alliance, but it's just hard for me to see that happening. I think it should happen, but yeah, I'm not sure if it will. Okay, so the game's about to start. And I'm probably not going to be able to stream this whole game. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I've been tutoring for a program called North Star Baltimore that does it's kind of like Big Brothers Big Sisters. We meet once a week to tutor um, underprivileged students, and then once a month we have activities with those students. So at noon I have to go over there. We're doing there's a place in Baltimore called the Creative Alliance that does like art programs, and they have like a little what do you call it? They have like art exhibits and stuff. So we're taking the kids over there this afternoon. So so that's why I got to dip out of here early. But I'll stream as much of it as I can. Okay, so I missed a couple things. It looks like Rafa's not playing as player 2. He's probably playing as player 3 instead. Yep. Which means I have to edit this. Which means I have to add this. Oh, that's annoying. Can't just be a normal person and play player 2. We're just gonna have to remember that R2 is sitting off to the side there. So yeah, we can't see R2's deployment card, but that's okay. All right, what have we missed so far? Just normal stuff. 3PO is focus Greedo. Greedo is a really good focus target. He doesn't get the reroll like the weak way, so maybe percentage-wise, the weak way gets a little bit more damage from focus. But what he does get is that extra range, which is really important on him because he has a built-in +1 range. So with 3 green die, he's guaranteed only 4 range. And the other thing about Greedo is he wants to attack people that can't hit him. So with focus, that makes it easier to do that. So he does have a surge for +3 range. So he can easily hit like a 9 or 10 range shot. And a lot of figures can't return fire and hit that shot. So with slow on the draw, your opponent's going to be able to try to hit you first. So that's why it's so important to get focus on Greedo. Jabba, I guess, focuses the weak way pirate. It's actually an interesting list here because Luca has enough focus to go around that all 3 of his attackers are getting focused round 1. IG-88, of course, doesn't need to be focused since he auto-focuses. On the other side, okay, so both players have planning. neither player negates planning. Um, I think negation against planning is kind of an interesting play. Against some lists, I think it's an easy choice. Like if you're playing against a Bantha list, you should always negate their planning because they need to get those command cards in hand early. And then once you kill the Bantha, it doesn't matter how many cards they draw because most of them are just for the Bantha. Against a list that has like Jabba and Black Market, maybe negating planning's not as good of a choice because they're going to get all the cards they want anyway, eventually. So it's just delaying the inevitable. But I don't know. I think no one ever negates it. I think it's sometimes worth a second to think about it. So you can see Luca already has 5 cards in hand. And on the other side, Raffo has 4, including Debts Repaid from Chewie. If you're not familiar with Chewbacca, he automatically starts with Debts Repaid in hand every time as one of your 3 starting hands. And it's kind of like Blaze of Glory, except for in order for you to play it, someone near... let's just zoom in on it, I guess. In order for it to get played, a friendly figure has to be defeated. So you can play around it. If you kill Chewbacca before you kill anyone else, that is a wasted card. Or if you kill someone while Chewbacca is still readied, then you obviously can't ready Chewbacca when he's already readied. So there's a lot of people actually complained about the wording of Chewbacca's Wookiee Avenger card because it forces you to draw Debts Repaid at the beginning, so your opponent knows that it's coming. Especially against the spy list that can intelligence leak it. It's not always good to have those cards in your starting hand. It's especially not good to reveal them to your opponent. And the other thing is, you can't not include it in your list. At least, this hasn't been ruled on yet, but the way that Wookiee Avenger is worded is search your deck for Debts Repaid and add it to your starting hand, then draw 2 cards. If you go by the specific ruling, if you don't have Debts Repaid in your hand, you only start with 2 command cards. So again, a lot of people complained about that wording. Hopefully we get a fix to it, which it's like we're going to need a fix to the fix. It's kind of annoying. But I think Chewbacca his fix wasn't quite enough to make him viable. But a lot of people are trying him out, so. Yeah, so against Imperial, negation is really good against planning. An Imperial player who's using Rule by Fear, for instance, will only have 3 cards in their hand after you negate planning instead of 5, so it's really good. And what have we missed here? So Raffo decides to focus Han and Chewie. Those are really the only attackers that Raffo has. Rebels are kind of a weird faction to play. I mean, I love playing them, but it's like you usually only have 2 attackers. Like I've been running Han Luke, and if either of them dies, it's like one figure versus your opponent's whole list. And that's pretty much true for every Rebel list. I mean, you can run Rangers, but I think 3 Rangers is about equal to like 1 big figure. So it's hard to, like, if you look at the other side, he's got 2 weak ways, Greedo and IG, so he's got 4 really good attackers against 2. Plus with On the Lam, He might as well have 5 attackers. Okay, we have some attacks coming out actually, it sounds like. Oh, that would be the um that's the Claudite adding a surge token to IG-88. I'm actually surprised they add a power token with is it called a surge token? I'm not sure. I guess it is. Um Instead of a damage token. IG-88 has surge for +2, surge for pierce 1, and he rolls green, green. Well, he rolls green +2 of whatever else he wants. So sometimes he will roll 2 surges, and he could waste a surge, but Luca decided to add a surge token instead of a damage token. Damage tokens never get wasted. I guess if you're attacking someone adjacent to 3PO, a surge token's better. So you can get that surge for +2 through the distracting. Maybe that's his thought. And he is facing a lot of white die, so maybe he's just planning on getting surges through evades. And he decides to open his door. I'm not sure who started with initiative. Let me ask. Okay, Raffo has initiative. So, all right. Raffo has initiative. But either way, Raffo is going to get the last activation of the round because he has nine figures. Luca was talking earlier about a lot of Italians are running 9 activation lists to counter 8 activation scum lists. I actually haven't seen any 8 activation scum lists besides DT's Bantha list. So, okay, attacks are coming out early. IG-88 is activating already. This could mean that Luca is holding on to Blaze of Glory already. Again, it's important to take Chewie out early so you counter debts repaid. And he's even adding tools for the job, so he's probably going to be rolling blue, blue, green, red, or something similar, and he has a +1 surge. He has built-in +2 range. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So blue, blue, green, red is a guaranteed hit. You don't want to miss the shot when you're rolling with tools for the job. Chewie is a smuggler, so he can add, or he can play on the lam. And in fact, on the lam could push Chewie up 2, 3, 4 to like here, and that would give Chewie like a lot more options for just charging in and slamming. This Claudite has 3 damage on it. I'm not sure how it got 3 damage on it. Oh, IG-80 or Chopper, I guess, hurt this Claudite. Regular Claudites have 6 health, so Chewie could come slam this thing maybe to death, and you know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 damage coming into Chewie there, so obviously he would want to on the lam if he could. And now another attack with Element of Surprise to get rid of that white die to guarantee no dodges. So this IG-88 likely to kill Chewie right off the bat. Man, this is a huge swing. Both players opening their doors early. Unfortunately, 3PO is not in a place to add an evade, so the positioning is a little bit questionable for Raffo. I'm actually surprised that this element of surprise was used to remove the black die, because if that dodge got rolled, that would be really bad. Okay, so 4 damage is not enough to kill Chewie, but it is enough to um, bring him to just 1 health left. Chewie in big trouble. 13 damage coming out from IG-88, a huge activation there. And that's even without Blaze of Glory. So the power of IG immediately on display. Chewie's going to come, probably attack Greedo. If he can finish Greedo off before Greedo gets to go, that would be pretty huge. Unfortunately, it looks like Ratho is not going to be able to play Debts Repaid. Again, the weakness of Debts Repaid is that it makes it really, really easy for your opponent to decide what to do. I'm actually surprised that he's bringing his Chewie out. He could just retreat for now, and then that would make it so Luca couldn't kill anyone else because then Chewie would get to reactivate. But he doesn't want to waste his focus. So he does come out and use it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 damage and 2 surges. Chewie has surge for stun, actually, and he also has surge for +2 damage, I believe. Yep. So he's going to do +2 and stun. Stun's really good against Greedo. Because if you can kill a stunned Greedo, then he doesn't get to do his parting shot. Unfortunately, though, Greedo's just going to activate and remove the stun and shoot at Chewie. This will almost certainly kill Chewbacca unless he was holding on the lamb for some reason. So a focus Greedo. First Chewie gets to shoot back, so maybe he shouldn't have retreated so far with Chewbacca. So first the slow on the draw attack. Almost perfect shot there against a blank die. So this will kill Greedo, and I'm actually not sure how the interaction works with applying stun and Greedo doing parting shot. Oh, and a dodge there from Chewbacca, a huge dodge. The Clawdite probably is going to be the one. I'm not sure why Chewie got removed there. He did roll a dodge. Oh, you know what? I totally forgot. Chewie's fix makes dodges only worth evades. I totally forgot about that. So sorry about that. That's why Luca removed the black die instead of the white die earlier. Yes, thank you, DEFCON, for reminding me about that. So yeah, so Chewie's fix actually, again, it doesn't necessarily make him viable. He still has some weaknesses. And now Han is going to come out and try to do some work against IG. He is going to get 2 attacks off. So, you know, an interesting thing we missed is Luca activated his Weequay pirates and pushed one into the pit. I I didn't see that happening. Um, but I think that's not a great move. Yeah, definitely a good trade there from Greedo. Um, all right, so Han's attack against IG. Uh, IG actually, when he's next to 3PO, he's got really good defense. Han doesn't roll any surges, so that distracting doesn't make a difference. A really strong roll actually from Han, doing five damage. That's really good. Unfortunately though, Rapho actually pushes Han out of Hera's range. I'm not sure if he. I don't think he's used Hera's call the shots yet. He probably should have left Han back one space to just so Hera could call the shots either with that attack or with the end of round attack. I'm pretty sure that Rapho didn't use call the shots on Chewbacca's attack, either of them. Um, okay, so the Greedo thing, one of those Chewbacca surges stunned Greedo, but I don't think the stun gets applied before parting shot, because stun gets applied after damage gets applied, and Greedo technically gets parting shot. I think technically the timing's kind of weird because after all the damage is applied, he gets removed from the board, and he gets his parting shot before he gets removed from the board. So I think that's kind of the justification for not having the stun cancel his parting shot. Of course, if he's already stunned when he dies, then he doesn't get it. But if he gets stunned during an attack with slow on the draw, I think he still gets it. So uh, I'm not 100% sure on that, but I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Okay, so a tough luck causes a miss, I think. Yep, so that attack's going to miss. And again, if he was back a space, he could have added a surge to get that extra accuracy and damage. But instead, he just misses. Bandito, did he not roll 3 greens? Did was there a mistake there? Yeah, yeah, I remember reading some discussion on the forums about that, but I think the consensus was that even if there's a stun in that attack, Greedo still gets his parting shot. Um, but yeah, maybe that's something that we should do a little research on. All right, so it's the status phase now. Intelligence leak comes out. Oh, it's actually the beginning of the round. Intelligence leak comes out for the Claudite. And let's take a look at what we got here. Debts repaid obviously is wasted. Officers training, battle scars, brace for impact, and positioning advantage. Battle scars is actually a Wookiee card, so that's also wasted. So it's a terrible hand for Rapho. Yeah, yeah, just an awful, awful hand. And So Luca decides to get rid of officers training, which is a good choice. I'm actually surprised that Han didn't use officers training to reroll to try to hit IG, because with a reroll he could have gotten the range. Oh wow, a lot of surges coming out for this. He's still Senator form, I think. So he's using Conspire, which distributes power tokens. He can only do a max of 3, but still, for a regular Claudite to distribute 3 power tokens is really good. So he gives a block, a surge, and I think he can give himself power tokens as well. And so he gives himself a surge also. So the power of a Claudite comes out there. Now it's going to be Han's turn to try to kill IG-88. He has 8 health left. We actually saw Rafa's hand. There's nothing in there that's scary. It's not like he has tools for the job, or he does have positioning advantage, but still. Gideon pulls Han back and focuses him. So IG-88 technically could come try to get this kill, or the Weakway Pirate could try to get the kill. Luca's going to activate Jabba and draw a card. Honestly, he could have activated Jabba and ordered a hit with IG against Han. I think that maybe would be better. Instead, he draws a card and focuses the Weakway in the pit. Like, that focus is wasted, so I'm not... Again, 6 points. What did he get out of that 6 points? Kind of a useless focus, and he also got an extra card. Who knows what that card is, but still. So the reason IG has 7 damage is what Bandito said. They forgot to roll that green die at first. And Han absolutely should have used officer's training at the end of the round there. If Han had used officer's training, he would have had a chance to kill IG-88 at the beginning of this round, but as it sits, it's not looking like he will. IG-88 here absolutely could kill Han with this activation. It's going to be 2 attacks coming in against Han. Han will fire back. Oh, actually, IG-88 decides to attack a regular smuggler, so maybe he is worried that Han is going to fire back with Hera and get some damage. With a focused Han and Hera, Han could do 8 damage. A really weak attack there from IG-88. He gets the range, only doing 3 Pierce 1, but that is just enough. So that regular smuggler dies. He adds the surge token for the attack, and he's going to actually attack Hera. Hera gets a built-in evade from 3PO. He is afraid of that return fire from Han. Doesn't want to get IG-88 killed before he has a chance to use Blaze of Glory. So he's going to avoid attacking Han for now. A huge defense roll from Hera. 4 blocks and an evade. So only 2 damage for IG. And that was a really good attack roll for IG, but... Okay, so Luca decides to play Opportunistic, which is going to give IG enough movement points to get out of line of sight of Han. So now Han has some really tough choices. He could take a chance and risk Luca holding Blaze of Glory. and be very aggressive with his Han. In theory, he's getting initiative back next round. Again, we know 2 of his command cards are worthless Wookiee cards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Luca has shown us 7 of his cards. He's holding 2, and he has 6 left in his deck. That means there's a 2 in 6 chance. Sorry, 2 in 8 chance, or a 1 in 4 chance that he's holding Blaze of Glory. There's a 1 in 4 chance that he's holding Take Initiative, and we've seen that Raffo doesn't have negation yet. There's a 1 in 4 chance that he's holding On the Lam, and those are really the 3 big cards that Raffo has to worry about. There's also 1 in 4 chance that he's holding Assassinate. But, you know, the chances that he's holding one of those cards is very high. It's very unlikely that all 4 of those cards are in his deck. Greedo decides to focus Gideon. So on one side we have a focused Gideon, on the other side we have a focused Hera, so some support units are probably going to get in the action this round. In fact, Raffo is being very aggressive with his Hera, moving up and trying to take a shot at Gideon probably. He is rolling blue, green, green, yellow, so he's probably going to get the range. 7 range shot. Good range so far from the greens. 4, 5, 6. I'm not sure if Hera has a surge for accuracy, so maybe that will miss. So didn't quite get the range on the blue there. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So unfortunately didn't get the range on the blue. And Luca's tossing negation. He negates positioning advantage, but I'm pretty sure that attack didn't have enough range. That was a 7 range shot. It looked like 6 range, and now someone tell me if I'm crazy. Was that 6 range on the dice? It was 3, 1, and 2. She doesn't have built-in range, and I don't think she has surge for range. I'm zooming in on the wrong side. She can't call the shots on herself. I'm pretty sure she didn't have range there. Now Gideon's going to come up and attack a smuggler to kill it. You know, at this point, I'm going to say that this game's pretty much looking very one-sided, and that's for Luca. We know that that Han is not holding on to Lamb. And Raffo's Chewie just gets wasted super early, so yeah, that shot should have missed. So I hate interfering with the game. If it's something that's like a choice that a player can make, I will never interfere with that. But if they're just missing something that shouldn't have happened, I'll sometimes say something. But man, it really sucks when one player's winning and you're like, oh, by the way, you should be winning by a little bit more. So he should still have his negation, and he should have 4 less damage on Gideon. So yes, sorry about that. Um, but that's kind of the nice thing about having someone watching your game is you don't have to worry about missing anything. It's like having a table judge sitting there. Uh, so now Rafo's list is completely falling apart. Luca's gonna get probably just 4 points from objectives, but it shouldn't matter. This elite weak way. Honestly, I think he should come try to kill Han. A focused hidden weak way can one-shot Han with the right cards, but instead he's going to go for the safe play and kill Hera. And that should kill her. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, Pierce 1. That's definitely enough. Doesn't need any rerolls. Tough Luck's already been played for Luca, and again, with Intelligence Leak, Luca knows all the cards that Rafo has, so he doesn't have to worry about negation or tough luck or on the lam. So again, Intelligence Leak, I think Intelligence Leak is the best card, the best command card in the game, besides, Blaze of Glory or Son of Skywalker. Honestly, if you bring in just one spy for Intelligence Leak, that's often worth it. So with Hera off the board, Luca sits at 31 points. He still, if he has Blaze of Glory, he could just sit on an objective, honestly, and that would bring him to 39. Han is going to come kill Gideon, it looks like, or maybe he will attack. He doesn't have line of sight to this weak way. I'm not sure who he's going to attack. There's no way he can get to IG-88, unfortunately for him. So he's just going to go for Gideon. He maybe should have double moved to try to kill IG-88. And he does roll a max roll. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So easily killing Gideon. But, Gideon's not exactly the most important figure to get off the board. Rafo's cards that he still has. Technically, they played negation and positioning advantage off of Hera's attack, and they shouldn't have. Um, so it's probably going to take some lucky dodges, some on the lambs, and stuff now. Like I said, Rafo's list was just 2 attackers, Han and Chewie. Chewie did get 2 good attacks off, killing Greedo. But now it's Han versus the world. He desperately needs to kill IG-88. And IG-88 is just going to be able to pop down here and take 2 shots next round. His end of round attack is probably going to be against Jabba, which is like, I think it's a worthless attack. But uh, I'm actually going to have to cut this short, guys. Like I said, I'm going to an event this afternoon. Um, so I think Luca has this one wrapped up. Thanks for participating, everyone in the chat, and thanks for watching, guys. I always appreciate the viewership. Okay, so I might be on later, but for now, thanks again, and you all have a good day. Oh, by the way, Blaze of Glory coming out, so watch out.